worked it out in advance. And I believe that's a word for somebody today. God has already worked it out for you in advance. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. He never said that you wouldn't go through it, but what he did promise you is that you'll come out victorious. See, when you got God on your side, it's like fighting a fixed fight. That means that you're guaranteed to come out with the victory. Let me give you another story, brothers and sisters. Growing up, I was a wrestling fan. I was a wrestling fan, and when I got older, I still enjoyed watching wrestling. In fact, when I went off to college, we would watch wrestling in the dorm. But we got a little smart. We didn't watch the entire wrestling show, not the full hour. We waited to the last 5 minutes for The Rock to come out. We knew that he would come out in the last 5 minutes, right? So we would be doing whatever, and we'll set an alarm. We'd be playing basketball. We'll say it's 7:50. We better run up there because we know The Rock is coming out. So we would go up there for the last 5 minutes so that we could hear, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? And we get excited. But what would happen is every time the same thing over and over would happen. The Rock's opponents would be getting the best of him. It'll look as if he's going to lose the battle. But all of a sudden, he would get some energy from somewhere, and he would come back and take over and win the match. You know why he won the match? Not because he was an excellent wrestler, not because he had all those muscles and that pretty face that y'all adore. The reason he was able to win all of the matches is because the owner, Vince McMahon, said he would win. Y'all missed it. That went right over your head. He won it because the owner said he would win it. Y'all just missed another shout point. The reason you have the victory today is because your owner, God said so. Your opponents may get the best of you right now, but God says that you're coming out victorious. Oh, that sickness thought it had you down. Well, guess what? God said that your healing is on the way. That anxiety and depression thought it was going to have you forever, but God told me to tell you this morning that your joy is on the way. Let me tell you something. Poverty thought it was going to have you for all your life, but God wanted me to tell you, you're in a fixed fight. You are going to be the lender and not the borrower. Who am I talking to this morning that knows that when God is on your side, you are victorious because God has already worked it out in advance? I'm getting out of here. I've preached long enough. Got to tell you this before I get out of here. Verse 24 is a part of the text that we never talk about. We always end this text on him coming out the lion's den. We shout and have a good time because he was not harmed. But the text goes on to say that the king took all those that plotted against Daniel, along with their families, and cast them in the lion's den where they were devoured. Now, I don't get excited over the fact of what happened to them. However, brothers and sisters, it teaches us this, that you have to be careful of what you do to people. Look out. Here's what my daddy told me, and I think this is some good theology for y'all. If you dig one ditch, you better dig two. Because the same trap that you set for somebody else can be the same thing that happens to you. These men thought that they were playing Daniel, but ultimately they end up playing themselves. And brothers and sisters, that's why we don't have to go around and try to get revenge on people for what they've done to us. The best thing you could ever do is keep minding your business and thank God that you were able to overcome that which they threw your way. Because here's what I learned about a ditch digger. A ditch digger will eventually dig a ditch for the wrong person. What are you saying? I don't got to pay them back because they going to keep digging ditches. But guess what? They going to run into somebody who ain't as gracious as I am. They going to run into somebody who don't serve the same God as I do. And they going to get what they deserve. And what I'm trying to tell somebody in here today is that you better stop digging ditches for people, setting trap for folk, because eventually the same thing can happen to you. I'm getting out of y'all way when I tell y'all this. Here's why I don't have to get revenge. Here's why I don't have to pay them back. This might not mean much to y'all, but this one is for me. The reason I'm not trying to pay people back for the hurt or whatever they caused me in my life is because God did not pay me back for the hurt I caused in his life. Oh, I'm closing right there. How can you pay them back for what they did for you and then turn around and say, God, I thank you for sending Jesus to die? If you gonna ask God for grace, then you got to learn how to give a little grace. Who am I talking to out there this morning? Well, you say, I ain't trying to pay them back. I'm excited over the fact that God has healed me. He allowed me to be above the hurt. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to fuss and fight with them. Why? Because the Lord has set me free. Who out there is a witness this morning that you refuse to go back and forth with people over what they've done because God has healed you and he's forgiven you of everything that you've done to him? Come on and give the Lord a hand praise. When God is on your side, you don't got to be revengeful. You don't got to plot. You don't got to plan. All you have to do is walk in the spirit of forgiveness. The same forgiveness that God has blessed us with. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning. But God is saying he's helping you get over it. You don't have to cry about it anymore. You don't have a fuss about it anymore. You don't have to be spiteful anymore. You don't have to speak out of hurt. You have to speak out of anger. That he's healing you from all of that hurt. I don't know who that's for, but that's for somebody this morning where you've been thinking about getting back at somebody or doing something to somebody. God says he can heal you from it this morning. Won't he do it? When God is on your side. How many of you glad this morning that God is on your side? Everything that the enemy has thrown at you, every plot and plan to destroy you and your family, it won't work. It will not work because God is on your side. And I stand here today to tell you that you may be in it right now. It may seem as if the enemy is winning, but God is saying it's already worked out. He's already fixed it. He's already taken care of it. That's why I'm able to stand here today with a smile on my face and tell you that it's a blessing. Any prayer warriors in